Thank you, Rebecca. Cindy, Reed here, everybody. Kai, you could go ahead and start with the reading the case study. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kai Prayer, Community Ambassador at East Flatbush Community Partnership. And case study. The Rossi family comprising Mrs. Rossi, mother age 33, and Mr. Rossi, father age 40, and their three children, Alessandro age 15, Sophia age 11, and Gianna age 9, originally from Italy, saw assistance from True Care Prevention in December 2022. The family immigrated to the United States in 2016, initially on a tourist visit due to financial difficulties in Italy. Mrs. Rossi primarily speaks Italian, while the children are bilingual in English and Italian. The referral to True Care Prevention came from Ms. Johnson, the school counselor at PS 345, who raised the concerns about excessive lateness, absences, and Sophia's behavioral issues. Sophia was also found with a TikTok account falsely stating her age as 21 and was involved sending inappropriate pictures to fellow students. Case manager Lewis created a safety plan which included Mrs. Rossi monitoring Sophia's social media accounts. The family faced challenges related to parenting strategies, with Mrs. Rossi feeling overwhelmed and unsupported by Mr. Rossi, who had a full-time construction job and often left early for work. Sophia's behavior was a concern, and she would stay out late, invite friends home against her parents' wishes, and argue with Mrs. Rossi. The family's financial situation became dire when Mr. Rossi abandoned them and returned to Italy in June 2023, leaving Mrs. Rossi with the 3 months of unpaid bills and emotional distress. Despite efforts by case manager Lewis to secure housing and financial assistance, the family situation remained precarious. Recent developments have worsened in the family's circumstances, with ACS and the law enforcement becoming involved due to a video on social media depicting CH Sophia engaged in sexual activity with peers. Sophia was also involved in a park fight with a friend. Mrs. Rossi has reported feeling overwhelmed, unsupported, and emotionally distressed by Mr. Rossi's abandonment and ongoing threats to report her immigration status. Efforts are needed to provide support, including referrals to agencies specializing in housing and emotional stability services for the children, immigration, and employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai, for reading. So everyone, as you know, that the East Flatbush Community Partnership, one of the main things that we do is provide referral services. And we often get calls about housing, employment, immigration, but sometimes it's difficult helping the families that are undocumented with those services because some of those services are limited on who they can help. We've made several referrals for this client with the names and family members have been changed. But unfortunately, they have not been helpful. Because one of the reasons is because of the immigration status. So we are opening it up to our great network that's represented here and asking for help or any advice on helping this family. We know that a lot of us is connected to different resources, and we want to dip in that today and see how we can help this family. So the floor is open now to one, I guess the first thing, identify the issues that you see in this case study. Is it just silent or were people not able to hear me?
No, we're still, I'm rereading it as I'm ready to say something.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Take your time.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So one of the questions I have is it possible for Mrs. Rossi to go back to Italy as well? Or is there a reason why she can't return home?
The family wants to stay here. It's just the father that left them, that chose to go back. The kids are developed a relationship with their schools, and Again, when they were back home, there were issues there already.
So one of the things I would do is refer them to HRA. So or maybe one of the CBOs like Canberra, Riseboro, or Catholic Charities for the unpaid bills, as well as some emotional counseling. Also, to help her, once again, I would reach out to HRA for a one-shot deal so that all these unpaid bills, because they do help with bills, as well as any back rent that may be owed. Also, I would help her look into maybe getting a certificate so that she can get a job or increase her chances of getting a better paying job that will help her remain here in America.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is Rebecca Herman from Catholic Charities of Brooklyn and Queens, the Flatbush office over here. This sounds unfortunately like one of our clients. This kind of stuff does happen quite a bit. I appreciate what you said about referring to Catholic Charities for the financial assistance, and if there is need for immigration assistance, the Catholic Charities does that too. My division right here at Flatbush does not, but we do downtown, and I can drop in the chat the call center number. That's who you would call to be connected with financial assistance and immigration assistance. The mental health piece, though, it sounds like the young lady, we have, again, unfortunately, but fortunately that we're all together having this discussion, we do have a lot of children referred to as adolescents who are having the same kind of behaviors as an ACS case. There's sexual acting out. And we do therapy for them. We actually offer art therapy here at Flatbush. So, I mean, not to shamelessly plug my program, but yes, this is something that we could possibly help out with.
Okay, thank you. I want to share that we have referred them to Catholic Charities for the immigration services, but there's some details in her story that I'm not fully clear about, that they weren't able to help her in that area for the immigration, and also for the utility bills. She was referred to Canberra and HRA, but they weren't able to help her. One, she's working a job where she's being paid on the table, but she's not receiving a lot. So, and anyone who's familiar with like HRA, usually they pay for you to stay in the apartment as long as you're able to pay moving forward, or they're going to assist you to move out of that apartment if you can't maintain that rent there. I referred her to another program that was different from HRA and Canberra, but that program, which was a great program, but they became overwhelmed and right now can't take any more referrals. So I know there are some other programs out there that people know of that. So if you know of any other programs that differ from HRA and like the home-based offices, then that would be great. But I know some of those programs have like caught up and got caught up with having so many referrals, like some of the home-based offices.
Yeah. Hey, this is Raul from All Kings. We have this is community, or this organization called Families for Freedom. They mainly focus on more families that have been impacted by the justice system in regards to immigration. Though I'm not sure if they'll be able to directly support with this. I would imagine that they have a network of people that could potentially support in these areas. And if you would like, if whoever would want to be connected directly to them, I could refer them to the ED there.
Oh, that would be great. Would you be able to send me an email with that information, please?
Yeah, sure.
Or that email introduction? Thank you.
I got you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlotte from Rising Ground, the Atlas Project. I'm a family therapist, so that's like always kind of my lens. And one thing I'm also seeing here is just you know, Mrs. Rossi's emotional overwhelmedness and how that might kind of be trickling down to the family. And so I'm also thinking about supporting them in feeling like a unified family unit with everything that they have going on now so that they can come together and support each other through all of that. I know that that does not help with all of these other kind of issues that are going on, but that was just also one thing that I was seeing here as something they could benefit from in addition to the other stuff.
Yes, that will be very helpful. If you could also share that information, that would be great.
Yeah,
Hi,
absolutely.
good
I'll put my
afternoon.
information in the chat.
Hi, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Eric Parker, and I'm a Senior Outreach Liaison with the Department of Small Business Services. I also oversee our Workforce Development Division. It sounds like Ms. Rossi eventually, at some point in time, when she gets her home situation squared away, that she's going to need some long-term plans as far as career development and job placement. Through our Workforce One job and career centers, she can take that path in order to get herself into a new career. She could receive a grant to get training, vocational training. So I'm going to put some information in the chat, and someone can reach out to us, and we can get her connected with our Workforce One, get her in the system.
Eric, do you mind me asking how she would be impacted based on her immigration status? So from some referrals, sometimes when it comes to employment, because they're undocumented, they're only able to get their services that they're able to receive is limited to like resume, getting their resume prepared and stuff like that. They're when it comes to the job placement, usually, which is the main thing that they need, it's kind of taken away because of that immigration status.
Yeah, well, due to the current migrant situation, Mayor Adams is working on a bill that would allow access to immigrants or undocumented to he's providing a path for them to possibly be able to work legally in the city of New York. So with that hope in mind, I would think that it would be wise for her to at least get into the system. She could still qualify for some career development training before the actual job placement is um, is offered. So at least in the meantime, she could start taking the path to getting some kind of career or vocational training. So we can certainly look into the possibilities of her getting that. Financial assistance is also available, financial counseling. For her situation as well. So I mean, I think getting her in the system is certainly the first step, and then we can look and see exactly what else she would qualify for, what other services we could offer her at this time, based on her current status.
Hi, good afternoon. Francisco Leopold, New York City Commission on Human Rights. And I know that you were talking about the immigration status. And under the New York City law, if someone goes to look for housing or employment, they are not supposed to ask them about their immigration status. They are not to question them on the immigration status. And there are certain jobs, as anything else, they may ask if you have a social security or other form of identification, as Ms. Reed just said. But when persons go out there, it's been said that if any resident, any person should go to seek for employment or housing, and then they ask them, they question them on the immigration status, they should report that to us. Another area also, I'm not certain as to Mrs. Rossi as to where who she's staying with. But if she doesn't has any sort of, if she doesn't have a social security or anything, and she needs housing, because we may be able to get all the different resources and get everything else for the family, but if we don't have housing, then that is a big issue. You know, and a lot of persons, because of the experiences at the shelters, they don't want to go at shelter in the shelter. They rather, you know, I don't know what other forms of sheltering that they get, but a lot of persons they have horrible experiences in shelters. So an individual, a family who is living in a household, regardless of the immigration status, if there's someone in the household who has an social security, they can apply. They can go to housing HRA. I don't know if we have anyone from HRA online right now, that they can that person can represent them. So if someone in the house has a social security number, that person can apply for housing. And so there are different areas, but we cannot discriminate against someone because of their immigration status. So anyone who's having any sort of issue, regardless of the immigration status, they are covered under New York City law. So they can, if they feel that they have been discriminated in any way, that they should reach out. They should reach out to us.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any input?
If the family does not have, sorry, Joanna Bosco, Metro Plus Health. If the children need health insurance, they don't have to have immigration status for us to sign them up. We can sign them up for Child Health Plus if needed.
Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone that provided information and your input. We definitely appreciate it. If anything comes to your mind after this meeting or during the time after yes? Does someone want to speak?
Yes, I did have one more thing, Cindy. If you recall, Cheryl Almond Charles was here from the League Center. Currently, they do have they have an open panel if they need to get counseling and such right here on Church Ave.
Okay,
She
thank
was
you.
here from a back to school. All right. No problem.
Yes, I remember her.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, again, if anything comes to your mind after we step away from the case study, please feel welcome to share it with us. I know the case manager has been working hard with this family, trying to get them services and has done a lot of outreach, and seems like, you know, hitting a dead end. So again, we thank you for the input that has been provided so far, but if anything comes up when we pass this, please put it in the chat or send it in the email. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone that participated. We really appreciate your assistance with that. I'm going to share my screen. Give me one moment.
Helping Bronx residents access tech careers.
Okay, so we're going to continue with our presentation today. We started off with the case study. We're going to have our East Flatbush Community Partnership updates. We have 3 presentations, one by Christina Yee Perry. And Christina actually can't move. Can't move what I need to move. So Christina is representing a school. We have Nija Affleck representing Rising Ground, and we have Joanna Boscott representing Metro Plus Health. We're going to have our program updates as well as next steps. So on that note, as usual, we have our East Flatbush Community Partnership newsletter. Feel free to send Cindy any updates that you might have that you want to include in that newsletter. It goes out every Wednesday, so it'll be ideal if you can get those to her at least by the Monday. That would be great. Kai is going to put in the link so that you can sign up to present at one of our monthly meetings. We would love for you to do that. We do have our website. Please feel free to check us out at eastflatbushpartnership.org. And we have a section there where you can look at all the events that are going on. So you can check that out as well. We are still accepting people to apply for our East Flatbush Community Resident Liaison. The candidates that we do have that have been screened and ready to go, they will be starting this Tuesday, but we're always looking for more people. So feel free, spread the word. If there are residents on now that would like to join, you can definitely reach out to us at ef@cpp.jccamy.org to get more information about that. Okay, we're going to start with our past events. Edlin, are you ready to share our past events?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adeline. I'm from the East Flatbush Community Partnership, and I will be sharing with you our past events. So our first past event was our back to school giveaway. We had a whole bunch of, activities. The kids were able to receive book bags, school supplies, food resources. It was a fun activity, even though it was raining, but we still made the best of it. Sun shined afterwards, and the kids had fun. And that's all that matters. It was preparing them for school. Our next past event was our community health fair. There was we invited our community health fair. It was hosted by Memorial Medical Care. Pretty much they were discussing about having, cancer screenings, free blood pressure, cholesterol, just pretty much a wellness event where they were educating everyone. Next up was, we had our first day of school celebration. And our partners that was there, Assemblywoman Monique, and all of our partners that always come for us. Next up was the Daniels Day Community Wellness. That event was pretty much, discussing about mental health awareness. And we did provide, resources. Resources is something that's very important. Next slide.
One moment.
Okay.
Okay, have our upcoming events.
Yeah, so we have our open door coming up on October 12th. It's, our monthly meeting, that's where we pretty much discuss anything concerning safety, housing, education, mental health, and other topics. That's where we give our residents, a place where they could discuss what is happening in the community. So open door is very, very informative, and we hope to see, new upcoming residents. Our next event is our a breast health panel. It is about to be, if not, Breast Cancer Awareness Month already. That'll be a night where, we do invite women to just have a conversation about breast care, breast health preventive measures. And, it's just a good night where we discuss on how to prevent, having breast cancer. So if you're free, join us October 25th and join us for our new upcoming events. And yes, so next up, we have our general monthly meeting. That'll be October 20. I'm not too sure. Don't get me quoted wrong, but 26, right? I was about to say 26. That's where we have all of our partners join in. We discuss what, could be doing, and that's what where we are right now. So October 26th, join us for our upcoming general monthly meeting.
Thank you, Adeline.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to have our first presentation. Christina is the founder of Quenda Collegiate Girls Charter School, and it shouldn't say 2 minutes, it should say 20. Sorry for the typo. But Christina, are you ready?
I am. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yes, you can. Let me give you access, okay? One moment.
Thank you.
Okay, you should be able to now.
All right, let me see. Share. Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this time. Again, my name is Christina Yee Perry. I'm a longtime Flatbush resident and the lead founder of Quenda Collegiate Girls. We're a brand new school that will open with grades K1 and grow to 8th grade, proposing to open fall 2025. So we've got some time in East Flatbush. The story of our school is a little interesting. We were originally approved in 2019, the same year the city hit the charter cap. We had over 400 families across East Flatbush that were signed up to attend, but we were not given the legal authority to open because of the charter cap. And now we're reapplying with the state and expect that official approval to come by the end of the calendar year. I'm here today because we're going to be kicking off a number of community co-design and resource events that I'll share with this group, but figured it would be helpful to give a little introduction to who we are as those events come into place. So Kwenda, a lot of people ask, Kwenda means go in Swahili. It's a nod to our core belief that girls should decide where they end up in life, right? It's the role of a school to help them get there. If you think about New York City, we have a deep storied history of some of the most prestigious private girls' schools in the world. But those average tuitions for a private school in in Manhattan range anywhere from $49,000 to $61,000 a year, beginning in kindergarten. If you look at Brooklyn today, the city's most populous borough, there's one public girls' elementary school in the whole borough. And every year that school has a wait list of hundreds of kindergartners. The real ethos behind our school came from being in community meetings like this one and hearing my neighbors who have girls who themselves grew up in Trinidad and Haiti and went to girls' schools in their home country, going to the Bronx every single day on the MTA, so 3 hours round trip to drop off their girl at a public elementary school in the Bronx, because that was the closest one that had any openings. 1,791, that's the number of families or young women that we've engaged over the last several years as part of our community activation process that will continue throughout the runway for our school opening in fall 2025. So we at Kwenda take the voices of students really seriously and have centered it in our school design. Particularly Black, Brown, and Asian girls. If you look at the data today, if you're a Black girl in New York City, you're 10 times more likely to be suspended for the same offense as your white counterpart. You're 53 times more likely to be expelled. So at Kwenda, everything that we do really places Black and Brown girls at the center. What you see in front of you is a quote from one of our community surveys from a student in East Flatbush. We've changed her name for the presentation. But what she speaks to is that even as a 15-year-old, feeling both hyper visible, everyone commenting on her aesthetics, her hair, how she looks, but also really invisible at school when it comes to things like leadership, having her opinions matter in the same way as other students. And because of this need, and this was a recurring thing that we saw across middle school and high school young women, we decided to build our school. So again, we're proposing to open in fall 2025 with kindergarten and first grade. And at full enrollment, we'd be just under 500 students across grades K through 8. And we believe in building a school where Black and Brown girls are really safe, they're honored, they're valued, and making sure that they're placed at the center of what we do. In more tangible ways, our school model, we start with girls in mind. We're a single gender school. We're also a public school though. And so if there is a family that really believes that their boy, they have a child who's gender nonconforming should be at our school, then we must welcome them and look forward to doing that. We spend a lot of time thinking about love of learning and literacy. We want all of our kids reading and loving to read. So we have more time on task in literacy than any other subject. That being said, every one of our students will get a science and an art class every single day. We'll have 2 teachers in every classroom, and we have a special focus on building the whole child around social emotional learning as well as academics. So why girls' schools? There's a lot of data out there. I'll put our website in the chat after our presentation, but we're really focused on empowering our girls with clarity and strength of voice. And you see time and time again, the data that's coming out of girls' schools. If you look across the US population today, about 1% of women graduate from a girls' school. But if you look at just Congress, 1 in 4, so a full 25% of Congresswomen attended a girls' school at some time during their academic career. So there's something special about the work being done in these spaces. To wrap up again, we're launching our community resources and community co-design in late November and December. I'll drop into the chat a link to our community survey, which if there are any resources that you think would be most helpful to you or any of the families in your area, please drop that in our survey. We've been connecting with a variety of different community partnerships, from doula services in the birth justice space to those working in food stability. So be on the lookout for flyers around events coming up in the fall through our opening in July 2025. But again, I appreciate the time, and if there are any questions, would love to answer those.
Does anyone have questions for Christina?
Hi, Christina.
Hi.
Did you mention where it's going to be held, the space that you'll be occupying?
So we do not yet have a lease signed on a space, given how far our opening date is in July 25. We are in negotiations on a building that is in CSD 18, as well as an incubation space in 22. It's literally across, it's like 2 blocks away from where our permanent space might be, but we'll have more clarity around location at the top of 2024.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christina, are you a charter school?
Yes, we will be a charter school.
Any other?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have another question. Will you be will your students, do you have the bandwidth for students with emotional and physical disabilities?
Yes. So in kind of way of my background, all of my teaching career up until 2020 was in traditional public schools. I'm a special educator by trade. And my first teaching job was working with students that have emotional and behavioral disturbances, eligibility for special education. So it's really core to our model. And I know there are some misconceptions about the charter space. There are some charter schools that have really caused harm in this area around special education, but it's really core to our model that we're meeting the needs of students that are enrolled. So when we think about kind of the teachers that we're prioritizing for hire, there are those that are duly certified so that we can provide the services regardless of what student enrolls at our school.
So you will have a psychiatrist, a psychologist on site, a therapist as well, a licensed clinician?
Yes. So year one, we'll have a licensed social worker on site. We'll have a school psychologist, because we're only opening K1, that limits kind of what our financial model looks like, but we're also looking to have a full-time licensed family therapist on site. So our social emotional staff and support staff are the second highest kind of budget item for us behind academic teachers, because we know post 2020, I was a teacher during school closure online. Like, we know that our kids are coming back to school with immense needs, and we have to be ready to support them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Christina, question for you. This is Keisha Sidney with Sesame Friars. Question for you. I didn't hear you mention the IEP kids, so that would require physical, PT, and speech therapists. Would you have those? Would you have those available at the school?
Yes. So given our school size, it's unlikely we'll have full-time occupational physical therapists and speech therapists on staff in year one. We are going to be part of a collaborative that will share those over school sites. So again, all of our kids that have IEPs or 504s, they're getting the minutes that are legally required that the school provide at school. We hope to have full-time service providers upon like full enrollment once we're K-8, but up until that time, we'll make sure that we've got licensed folks that are there to provide the minutes that we might share with another school.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Christina. We appreciate you sharing the information you did. Okay, we're going to go on to our next presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Diane Smith. I'm a community ambassador with East Flatbush Community Partnership. And I have the honor of presenting our next presenter, Naja Affleck. Please forgive me if I mispronounced it. FFTC Program Director with Rising Ground Incorporated. And I pass the mic to Naja.
Thanks so much, Diane.
Okay.
May I share screen as well?
Yes, let me just give you access. One moment.
Okay.
Okay, you should be able to now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Naja Affleck, the Program Director for Atlas at Rising Ground. For starters, Rising Ground was previously a Yonkers-based organization, and maybe 4 years ago transitioned to Brooklyn. And so we have sites everywhere, but our downtown location is on Lawrence Street in downtown Brooklyn. And so the Atlas Project specifically has been with Rising Ground since 2020. And it was an initiative by the mayor's office that wanted to target recidivism, especially during a time where the political climate was really high for people of color. The mayor's office wanted to figure out an initiative that allowed for communities to heal from within and utilize resources that felt like home, that felt real, that felt connected to them in order to address some of the barriers that were coming up for them that led to community violence. And so 3 years later, we are here. We are providing FFT, functional family therapy, to youth ages 13 to 17 and young adults ages 18 to 23, with the hope of really working from within their families, within their inner circles, to help target recidivism and keep them from frequently revisiting the criminal justice system. The mayor, I can't even see this. As it says here, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety strengthens safety, well-being, and healing through community-centered approaches that deliver holistic resources in historically devastated neighborhoods. And so when we are targeting the people we want to work with, we are looking for the most hard to reach, the most forgotten, the people who are resistant to therapeutic services. And we've really created our program in a way that is transformative and progressive, in that we show up in the same way that our clients do. And so we're open to meeting people on the block, in the community, in the park, at their home, in our offices. And we're hiring folks who have a clinical background, but also are relatable and able to match to the cultural needs of the people we serve. Atlas, in a large picture, is made up of several referral partners, several provider agencies, but today I want to speak specifically about Rising Ground and how we fulfill the mission of Atlas. Atlas is 100% voluntary, and families come to us for various reasons. And so we have referral sources that are referring folks because they're in court and they're about to be rearrested, or they want to prevent rearrest. We have families who come in off the street because they're having trouble with their child in the community. We have young adults who come in because they need support in navigating crises that have happened in their community. And that could be like beef with people in their neighborhood. It could be domestic disputes or issues with their partner. But we're really addressing violence in all forms, and also through our model, figuring out how to make it relevant to recidivism and the criminal justice system. We believe that people are literally reliving all of the patterns that play out that get them arrested. And so if you're a hothead in the street, you're a hothead in your family. And we believe that if we target the family first, we create some rationale or some reason to commit to changing because people care more about the people closest to them than that broader community. But through our intervention, we want to be able to change their dynamic in their community as well. The FFT model is a phase-based therapeutic model, traditionally for young adolescents and their families. Rising Ground was the first program to pilot working with young adult population ages 18 to 22. And in our work, we're really helping people tell their stories, guys. Like, there's so much going on outside of our bodies and our minds that sort of influence how we show up in this world, how we treat people who look like us, how we treat ourselves. And so our therapists are really helping people get an idea of how trauma, victimization, internalized racism is really impacting how they see themselves and each other, and sort of instilling hope in the idea that like families can change what they believe about themselves, which then allows for them to change how they behave. And so once we sort of build a relationship with them, we're connecting with them, we're seeing them as human and with dignity and with nobility, regardless of some of the things they may have done. We want to help them see themselves that way, whether it's a mom and a kid or siblings or friends, really helping them redefine the lens in which they look at each other and give, honestly, the narratives that they've created fuel to exist. And so we want to combat those narratives. And once we sort of get people to understand that they do have influence over the decisions that they make, the way they treat people, the way they experience treatment, we move to a phase which is called behavior change, where we're giving them concrete skills. We're rehearsing with them. We're giving them homework. We're making them rehearse with the people they love. We're making them rehearse when they go to court. No matter what, we're sort of instilling this new skill and supporting them in their relapses and in their successes. And in our final stage of work with an individual or family, we help them generalize those same skills. And that can be like communication, emotion regulation, anger management. It can be self-esteem. It can be exploring manhood, whatever type of skill we're working with. We're now like, how do you take this skill that you've been using with your partner, with your children, and use it when you see somebody you don't bang with on the block? When you're in the bodega and somebody disrespects you, how are you going to use that same emotion regulation skill to not get into a fight? And in that final phase, we're also creating a relapse plan. We know that we've been who we are for years. I've been Naija for 34 years. And the way I've responded to conflict has always been the same loop or pattern, right? And until I sort of practice and like commit to changing, whenever I feel overwhelmed or things get intense, I'm going to revert back to what I know. And so we believe that for our clients, and we help them create a relapse plan that matches to them. And so if you have somebody super involved in church, it may be called their Bible, it may be called their Quran, but something that really connects to them that they can revisit when things get tough, when they want to go back to how they used to behave, they can refer back to their relapse plan to support them. We also offer booster sessions. And so our services are 4 to 6 months, and sometimes a month after case closed, someone encounters something that is like really overwhelming or like pushing them to relapse, they can outreach us for booster sessions. Everyone has 3 booster sessions once service is over. And so even if you know this person and you're like, I see them slipping, like, Naija, can they get a booster session? Absolutely. One important part about Alice is that we try our best to avoid systems. And so when we're making referrals, when we're seeking support, when we're trying to connect people to the community for help, we want to avoid anything that's going to keep them in a system that has previously or is currently oppressing Black and Brown people. And so we're really connecting with CMS organizations and cure violence organizations to get as much resources as we can, as opposed to referring to a larger system that is only going to impact how they're perceived or treated in this world. We're not reporting back to judges or lawyers. We're not communicating with anybody who wants to communicate with us about that person's case unless they give us permission to do so. We take pride in not being connected to a system that tells us how to interact with the people we serve or what is acceptable and what is not. Many of the services in our community are not always 100% free, 100% voluntary when it comes to people with dealings in the criminal justice system, but we are And we really take pride in being able to support people in a way that is pure and real and can end when they're ready for it to end. The eligibility criteria, the entire Atlas project works with children and adults from 14 to 27. Rising Ground, my agency specifically, works up until 22. And so from 14 to 22, we can take someone. The criteria mentioned here, it's like, if you don't check this box, you can't be referred. That's not how it goes, but these are the types of folks we take in. And so it's people who currently have an open case, people who have previously been arrested or incarcerated on a violent felony charge, previously found guilty of weapons offense, active gang affiliated or risk of gang engagement, known to carry a gun, seriously disruptive behavior in school, victim or witness of violent traumatic crime. And a lot of times we forget this in referring people to our program, but this witness of violent or traumatic crime can also occur in your home as well as in the community. And the youth being involved with the family court system. And so those are some of the people we work with. And if you know, or people are frequenting your organizations who have these services who could benefit from Atlas, we can definitely have a conversation about what that looks like, and how to get that person connected with the therapist. Our assignment to a therapist takes about 24 to 48 hours. If for any reason it is going to take longer than that, we are outreaching the people you refer, and we're starting that engagement process so that they know that we have not forgotten about them. But it is imperative that we start therapy with a youth the moment they're referred, because we believe that momentum is what keeps people involved in a service that is voluntary. This is a little bit about the FFT model that I gave you guys a little bit about, and that is about it. If you have any questions about the model or about the program, please feel free to ask.
Good afternoon. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Naja, thank you so much for that presentation. Would you be able to share your presentation with me via email? I'd like to send it to my superiors.
Yes.
Because we have some middle schoolers here at Walt Whitman that have overstayed their welcome. And we know that some of them have, why are you laughing at me, Miss Joanne? That's not funny. So we just want to see if they qualify for your program. I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll send you my email so that you can send me your email.
Okay, no worries. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm giggling because I have a 14-year-old that goes to YCD, and oh, if you guys could see the gray hairs on top of my head, it's a rough age. We had a few fights last year. This year has been much better. My daughter is a really calm child, but she likes to gossip, and I think that's her issue. But oh yeah, so when you said a few issues, we have fights on I think, Lameka, you guys know this, on a daily basis, there's constant like fights, and then there's like fight days. So we definitely have our hands full here in Flatbush. So great program.
Thank you.
Great program.
And we've also partnered with schools, transitional high schools, particularly, to support them. And so a lot of times it's hard on administrators to be responsible for like knowing every kid that would benefit from our service. So what we do is like visit the school, talk to the administration, explain our work. And also we have a community engagement team that like would just go and like chill with the kids so that they see us as human and cool. And then also be like, we also offer therapy. Are you interested? And so we do that outreach work as well.
Would your program manager or your executive director consider doing it for middle schoolers? I know you said high school, but we also have the same issue with our middle school students. In some districts within the Flatbush neighborhood, there is that issue of our young men, especially not having, not trusting women. Let me just say it like that, because I have one student who has emphasized that he does not trust women because of what he saw transpire between his mother and his father's girlfriend. So he has a trust issue. So I was, if that could be something that the next program meeting can be discussed, to address our 11-year-old young men and beyond, because it's a big issue for them to, and for vulnerability. They have an issue with being vulnerable with us as women as well.
So when a youth is under the age of 17, the expectation is that their parent or guardian participate with them in services. And so we would love to work on cases like that. We just also need to ensure that there is a parent, guardian, agreeing to participate with the kid in the therapy. But the age is 13 to 17 for the adolescents. But Rhonda, I would love to just talk to you more about what you're seeing and what we can do. Because I think, there's one thing about biological age, but then this level of experience and exposure that some kids have, it makes a case for them to be considered differently. And so although he's 11, he may be able to do it. So I'd love to talk to you about that.
Great. I look forward to our conversation together.
Thank you. Any other questions for Naija? Okay, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more presenter for today. Okay, Diane?
Is it on me?
Diane, can you present the next presenter?
I was muted. Okay, forgive me. Joanna Bosket is our next presenter. She's the Assistant Director in the Sales Department for Metro Plus Health. Joanna, I'm passing you the mic.
Thank you so much, Diane.
welcome.
A little bit about me. I actually have been with Metro Plus for 9 years now. Our office is I think it's the heart of Flatbush, Church in Flatbush, and there's nothing that I'm obsessed more about than health insurance. So I'm so glad to be with you guys this afternoon. I've been missing meetings. I have not been getting the emails, so I'm glad that I'm back on the email blast list, and I'm glad to be here today. Cindy, you have my presentation, or do you want me to share it?
I didn't get the email.
Oh, you didn't get the email? All right, so I will share it. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, so one of Metro Plus primary goals is connecting families to care, definitely connecting families to health coverage. We are as diverse as the city. Since 1985, we've built a reputation of providing access of affordable quality healthcare to the people of New York City. And we are wholly owned by New York Health and Hospitals, the largest municipal health system in the United States. I believe that we're higher than this 660,000. So I definitely need to update the numbers. These are just some of the plans that we offer. Child Health Plus, which is available for all children, regardless of under the age of 19, regardless of their immigration status. Even if a child is undocumented, we're able to sign them up. Essential Plan, it depends on your immigration status, as well as your income. But there are individuals that are able to qualify for the Essential Plan. Our marketplace health plans are for anyone that is above the income for Medicaid as well as Essential Plan. They could still get health insurance with us through our marketplace health plans. They'll have a premium per month, but they are still able to get access to care. Of course, our baby, our first managed care plan, which is our Medicaid managed care plan, which is available for any New Yorker. It's just, of course, they have to meet the income in order to qualify. We have our managed long-term care for individuals that may need assistance at home. If you have an elderly family member, as they start to, you start to see slow changes. We're noticing with my mom now, she'll miss a step here or there. So as these changes happen, if you're working full time, you're not able to be home with that family member. If they do have Medicaid, we're able to enroll them for managed long-term care. A nurse comes out, they do a survey to see how many hours and see how much assistance the person needs. And then from there, the person would get aid in their home. We have our Medicare line, our Metro Plus Gold for New York City employees, as well as our partnership and care for anyone that's either in the shelter system or also individuals that are HIV positive. So as far as what plan you're eligible for the QHP, it's available for residents of New York City, ages 18 years, 18 to 64, individuals that are 64 and older, that can't get insurance from their job, and they also don't qualify for Medicare, can also apply for our QHP plan. The essential plan is available for residents of New York City as well, who are lawfully present in the U.S. From ages 19 to 64.
And Tammy being separated, for her to be going through that.
Sorry. Now, with the essential plan, it is going to depend on, again, your income as well as the immigration status as well. Typically, if someone could just prove that they're, PRUCAL, which is like their pending status, they have an I-797C, where they have proof that they've applied for asylum, we're able to apply for those individuals. And we try to just meet people where they're at. So regardless of the status, we want to sit down and at least discuss what the options are for that specific family or individual or person. These are the benefits that we offer: the 10 essential health benefits, family planning, hospitalization, emergency services, urgent care services, telehealth, primary care, specialist, dental care, vision care, as well as pharmacy. Now, one thing we did want to focus on in speaking with Cindy this week or last week, the few changes that happened this year since COVID has, we went through the pandemic. The state had been automatically renewing. If you had Medicaid, you didn't have to go through a recertification. You didn't have to fill out a packet. You didn't have to call your representative. You were being automatically renewed. Some changes that happened this year, the moratorium ended. So now families are having to go through an actual recertification. They're getting the packets, they're getting letters, and it's so important that they recertify, or else they're at risk of losing their health insurance. So as of April 1st of 2023, the Medicaid continuous coverage requirement came to an end. So all families with coverage ending in June 30th began to receive their renewal notices in the mail. The first month renewals begin for cases with end dates of June 30th of 2023. So essentially, the notices went out in March for anyone that was under HRA, and in May for anyone that was under the New York State of Health. And the first date of the renewals was June 30th of 2023. As of September 28th, I can tell you now that there are families that have already lost health coverage due to the fact that they did not catch their renewals on time. What does it mean? New York has more than 7.7 million Medicaid members, and they're in danger of losing coverage. Many New Yorkers have not been required to recertify in the last 2 years, and many may be unaware of this requirement. Some people, we had some clients that were just under the assumption that they had some type of permanent Medicaid because they didn't have to renew. So it's so important to get the word out, to let your families, your members, your clients know that it's important to pay attention to the letters that they're receiving, because they could be at potential of losing their coverage if they don't renew. This is a sample of the HRA renewal. This is how it will come. It'll give all the information. It'll also provide them with the date that they have to turn it back in by, that it has to be postmarked by in order for them to catch their renewal. They will do it similar to the way they've done it in the past. They completely fill it out and provide the state with like your updated income. If your address change, you have to be sure to put the new address on the form, put your new contact numbers on the form so that the state always has your current information. A similar letter goes out to individuals with Medicare as well. And again, it's just important for them to fill it out and send it in. For anyone that does have MetroPlus and does live in the Flatbush area, my office is at 2221 Church Avenue. They can stop here with their packets and we'll be happy to help them, fill it out and get it and encourage them to send it in. As far as the New York State of Health, a little different. With HRA, you fill out the packet, you mail it in. New York State of Health is a bit different. You would get this notice and you'd have to do one of three things. You can contact back the representative that did your family's coverage, your individual coverage. You can contact the state directly, or if you're savvy, you do have some New Yorkers that are pretty savvy that will go online and actually do their renewals themselves. It's quite a few pages and there's a lot of questions. So it is simpler. Most people would prefer to go through an assister versus doing it themselves. But when they get this notice, it'll tell them the date that they have to update by, and it's very important that they go through the renewal, they have their application reran for eligibility, because again, they're at risk of losing their health insurance. So we are in the community. Our office is at 2221 Church Avenue. We're right here on Church between Flatbush and Bedford. Our hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. And I do have one of my enrollment specialists listed here. Her name is Emanuela Lapointe. This is her contact number, her email. She's fluent in English, French, Haitian Creole. We also do have representatives that speak Mandarin, Cantonese, Bengali, Urdu, and Spanish as well. So certainly I'll provide my contact information in the chat. And if you do have a family that either needs health insurance, or if they have MetroPlus, they need assistance with renewing, you certainly could feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to assist them. I'm gonna stop here. Okay, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I would love for you to drop your information inside the chat.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, I think Miss Rhonda?
I sent you a direct message. Can you contact me, please, so we can conversate about you coming to the school maybe and doing a workshop on MetroPlus Health and
Sure.
our school community?
Okay, I'll check.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I see it now. Sure, no problem.
Question for you, Joanne.
Yes.
This is Keisha here from Sesame Flyers.
Keisha, I owe you giveaways. I have you in my heart. Go ahead, Keisha. I have you in my heart.
That's okay. That's okay. we gonna talk.
Yes.
So question for you. Now, I know you mentioned that if someone applied for asylum, that they would be able to fall into this category. I believe in 2019, the city created a plan for people who were undocumented for them to be able to to get some type of coverage where they can go to the doctor and not use the emergency room, as their doctors, right? Do you guys have anything like that?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Not Metro Plus itself, but Health and Hospitals does offer NYC Care. So even if you are undocumented, if you don't have current status, you are able to access care. You could see doctors, you can get medications. It's not a health insurance, but it is a program through the Health and Hospitals, and individuals are able to get access to care through that program if they don't qualify to get health insurance due to like immigration status. Also, if maybe the insurance is too expensive for someone, we have an individual that'll come in here and they make, let's say they make 75,000. And we know 75,000, it seems like a lot of money until you pay, $2,000, $2,500 in rent in New York City. So those individuals as well can also access NYC Care. What I'll do is I'll leave the link for the NYC Care website in the chat.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys so much. Again, I'm gonna leave my contact information in the chat. We're open to presentations. Our office is open. We do offer, I did want to mention that coming back in January, we're gonna have free tax back at our office. And currently we have SNAP assistance every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And the representative on Tuesdays, we have representatives that speak Haitian Creole, French, and Arabic. And on Wednesday and Thursdays, the representative speaks English and Haitian Creole as well. I'll send you the flyer for that, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we have some time left for our program updates. So this is where you get to unmute and share about what is going on in your world. So feel free and let us know what your program updates are. Who'd like to go first?
Hi, it's Common Schools. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. Just a couple quick updates. Common Schools has open enrollment from pre-K all the way up to 12th grade. And I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. We also have a PPFA, Powerful Partners for Advocacy group, which is a group made up of parents, community stakeholders like yourself, who work with many of the parents and staff, as well as the youth ambassadors, to meet with electeds, talk about what the community needs, what the school kids needs in terms of like book supplies. We do book bag giveaways, turkey drives, toy drives, all of that good stuff. We have trips where we go up to DC, Albany, and we speak to electeds about a number of things related to education. And so if anyone's interested, please let me know. I'll put my contact in the chat. And if any kids or parents interested in open enrollment for any of the schools, we have 24 schools throughout Brooklyn. I certainly can share that information. And for the young lady who's going to be opening her school in 2025, congratulations. We will be happy to have some discussions as you open up for post 8th grade education. Maybe we can talk about some collaborations. Thank you.
Okay, you can go ahead, Keisha.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Keisha Sidney with Sesame Flyers. I do community outreach with them. I just wanted to share with you guys this afternoon that our after school programs are up and running. We do have one slight change. The location that's in Canarsie, which is the Buildersea location, it's normally at IS 268. IS-68, sorry, which is Buildersea. But due to construction, we have to use the 276 location, which is just around the corner from it. It's 1070 East 83rd Street. So, just in case if anybody that lives in Canarsie and their kids, want to go to the after school program there. The other location is at Winthrop, 905 Winthrop, and then we do have our Clarkson. And also just wanted to share with you guys, I would be sending out like this, a flyer pretty soon after created, but we have just partnered with the citywide participatory budgeting
idea generation program. And we will be facilitating a meeting coming soon, which should be in November. We will be looking for between 20 to 25 participants to participate in it. I will be, I'll have to create the flyer this week. This literally just happened. So I just wanted to just put the buzz out. So I'll be sending the flyer out to you guys. You can put it in the newsletter. So, we can share the info so people can join the meeting. Thank you. I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you, Keisha. Who else would like to go? Do we have any more program updates?
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I cannot be on mic. I'm actually outdoor at an event. I'm Charlene Gordon from the New York City Department of Health. And I just wanted to say that next month, which is October 22nd through the 28th, we're having National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week. So we're always trying to encourage our partners, especially if you're servicing families, to, celebrate the week by bringing the awareness about lead poisoning prevention. So I did put my information in the chat. So if you need to reach out to me, I'm here, and you can always order some educational materials for your clients. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Corinne Bethune, and I'm from Siemens Society for Children and Families. We are a foster care agency in the Brownsville community, and we are currently really recruiting for foster parents. There is a great need. There was over 120 children in the Children's Center just waiting for a home. And what we're seeing is that in Brooklyn, that we're finding less and less people who are available to take children, only because the rent is high, people are sharing apartments, a variety of reasons. So for those of you who are aware of anyone who would make a good foster parent, loving, caring, and nurturing, we are reaching out. The populations that are coming into care are sibling groups, teenagers, teenage mothers with their babies, LGBTQ, and special needs. And I'm out there, I've been out there all summer. I have a wonderful tan from all the events you guys have kindly shared with me. And we're seeing that less and less people are available to do it. The heart is willing, but they're not able. So if you know anyone who is able, not only the space, not only the bed, not only the home, but the heart, please. I put my information in the chat, and I thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from some of you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other program updates? Okay, is there anyone here that is joining us for the first time?
Monica, sorry, I raised my hand again. You probably thought it was the same hand that was
Keisha,
raised.
go ahead.
I just wanted to share one more thing. So this is not for Sesame Flyers organization, but it's something that's near and dear to me. Just wanted to remind people, I know you guys mentioned it earlier on about October is Breast Cancer Awareness Week, but I want to remind you guys that the actual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk is happening at Coney Island on the 22nd of October. It's the Sunday. Put it in your calendar. Guys, come on out and support the breast cancer or just cancer survivors, all together. It really says something when they see how many people come out just to support them, to just help them to feel better, because it's that one day that they put aside everything else and they want to have a smile in their face. So, it may not have affected you personally, but it would be great if you guys could come on out and support. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keisha. So is there anyone here that's joining us for the first time? If so, I'd like for you to please share how you found out about this meeting.
Peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Tyron Stearns. I met a couple of you already. My name is Tyron Stearns. Originally from the God Squad, the 67th Precinct Clergy Council, who this year has recently been blessed with the Cure Violence contract. So I am now in transition mode with the Cure Violence contract, Project Echo, empowering communities with the healing and opportunities located in East Flatbush. So I would just like to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to partnering with a lot of you. And I see my other colleague on here, Janice Sherwood. We're looking forward to working with a lot of you.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Yes, I'm a colleague of Tyron's. My name is Janice Yearwood. I'm also with Project Echo. I will be the education and employment specialist for the team. Nice meeting you. Looking forward to working with you guys as well.
Thank you.
Hi,
Anyone
everyone.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. It's my first time here. I work at Rising Ground in the Atlas program along with Nija, who presented about our work. And it's great to meet you all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, so am I. I also worked with Nija at the Atlas project, and I'm one of the supervisors underneath her. I learned a lot today, and it was a pleasure to hear about all of the programs and the work that's being done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined us. So those of you who are, normally here with us, we appreciate you, and we appreciate those of you who just joined in today. Thank you so much. And feel free to share the word about anything you learned today. We are going to put the meeting minutes in an email and send that out to you, the presentation, as well as, any flyers that were sent out. You can always access those using our newsletter. The link for that was put in the chat. And if you want to be a presenter, you can click the link in the chat to do that as well. So we're going to wrap things up
please,
today.
before you wrap up?
Hey, yes, you may.
I just want to ask, I know
Who's
there are
speaking?
different persons, Ms. Francesca Leopold.
Okay.
There's several persons there who represent different organizations, and many a times, I would have bulletins coming to me or job opportunities, and so I was just wondering as to how would I go about, sending those out, because I know a lot of the different organizations, sometimes they may be able to pass on those opportunities and give them out there to persons who are looking for employment.
Yes. So on the screen right now, do you see where it says weekly newsletter?
Mm-hmm.
What you could do is anything that you want us to share out with our network, you can send it to Cindy. Her email address is here, jccamy.org, and we'll make sure that we include it in the newsletter. The newsletter goes out every Wednesday. So ideally, it would be great if you can get it to us the week before, if not by that Monday, so that we can include it. Okay?
Give me a minute. Let
That
me take a snapshot. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Take it down. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. So we are also on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Our handle is East Flatbush Partnership. Our next meeting is going to be October 26th at 3 o'clock. And as usual, I'd like to share with you our catchment area, 11203, 11210, 11212, and 11226. With that said, if they are residents that are not in those zip codes, we can still help them. The first thing we would do is find out if there's a partnership in the zip codes that they are connected to. And if not, then we will do our best to try to assist them. So with that said, I'm going to end today's meeting. I'm going to stop sharing and turn off the recording.